Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our support from the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School. Now, this rundown is dedicated to Liquor Run and Games, who's been pronouncing it SNES and not SNES all these years. I know it as SNES, and if you pay attention, I've been saying SNES, SNES, and Super NES and mixing it up, and that's on purpose. But good catch there, Liquor Run and Games. This rundown is all yours. Splatoon 2 is looking pretty good, but its online interface could use a new coat of paint. Earlier today, Nintendo held a special Nintendo Direct presentation to announce new details about Splatoon 2, as well as their upcoming online app for smartphones. The app, which has the very straightforward name Nintendo Switch Online app, will launch on iOS and Android devices on July 21st, the same day Splatoon 2 hits stores. It will eventually work with every Switch multiplayer game, and for Splatoon 2, it will give users the ability to set up private lobbies, voice chat with other players, and track their online game progress. Being able to do all that from the phone is pretty cool, but here's the problem. Many of these online features will only be accessible through the app, and you won't be able to do them from the console itself. This already caused plenty of frustration a few months ago when Nintendo first announced that they were planning to do it, and it's sure to cause even more problems when the game itself arrives. The app isn't going away anytime soon either. Nintendo is planning to launch a subscription-based online service for the Switch early next year, sort of like PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, but users will need to keep using their smartphone app for that as well. Alongside the new details about the online app, Nintendo also revealed that they're planning to release downloadable content for Splatoon 2 for at least a year after launch. They haven't said how much of it will be free or paid, but we do know that it will include new weapons, gear, stages, and other in-game items. They're also planning to hold in-game events called Splatfest for at least 2 years after launch, giving players unique themed events and challenges. Nintendo previously released post-launch DLC for the first Splatoon game, and they've been taking bigger steps into DLC with new content for other games like Breath of the Wild. Splatoon 2 is looking pretty cool. We just hope the forced smartphone app doesn't hurt the game and cause it to hit the ground with a splat. And Nintendo has an inkling to drop hints about loads of other upcoming projects. Nintendo recently held their 77th annual shareholders meeting, where they unveiled several new details on their upcoming projects and future plans. First up, many investors are wondering if Nintendo, given their recent embrace of third-party mobile gaming, will begin releasing games on other third-party platforms like the PC. This will obviously be very lucrative, but it doesn't look like Nintendo will be doing it. President Tatsumi Kimishima says that they believe the best way to proceed is to keep their hardware and software business integrated like they always have. So despite their recent success in the mobile space, they'll continue to focus on their own first-party systems like the Switch. In what could be seen as a bit more boastful, Nintendo's creative head Shigeru Miyamoto points out that during E3 last month, the lineups to play Switch games were much longer than the lineups for PC games. Shots fired. Nintendo is clearly pleased with themselves over the success of the Switch. The system is flying off shelves worldwide, and they expect to sell 10 million units before the end of the year. Given that the system is a cross between a stationary console and a handheld, investors asked Nintendo about how they plan to balance the Switch with their other handheld platform, the 3DS. Nintendo says that what makes the Switch unique isn't so much its handheld capabilities, but the fact that it offers a variety of different ways to play. Users can take it out and get together with others to play anywhere and any way they want. If this is what Nintendo thinks is the most important thing about the Switch, you can expect this aspect to be played up in future games. Finally, shareholders wanted to know what's happening with the Super Nintendo World theme park attractions that are coming to Universal Studios. Kimishima says that the construction of the first one in Universal Studios Japan is well underway, and it's scheduled to open in the year 2020. After that, they plan to expand with new Nintendo Worlds at Universal Studios in Hollywood and Orlando, but they haven't decided if the Universal parks in other countries will be getting them as well. The attractions are meant to make attendees feel as though they're entering a real-life Nintendo game, with rides, shops, and other attractions based on the biggest Nintendo properties. They're gonna make a fortune. And it looks like one of the world's best game developers is getting ready to take on the Switch. Developer Platinum Games, which created Bayonetta, Vanquish, and Nier Automata, is apparently bringing 2 of their games to the new Nintendo platform. The company has tweeted out several images that appear to hint that they're working on Switch versions of Bayonetta 2, as well as their 2013 game, The Wonderful 101. Both of those games were published by Nintendo and originally released as Wii U exclusives, so it wouldn't be too surprising if they get ported over to the Switch. These wouldn't be the only Wii U games coming to the Switch. Nintendo recently released Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was a huge hit, and they're about to drop a Switch version of Pokken Tournament as well. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé has previously stated that they hope to bring more Wii U games to the Switch. The Wii U had some great games, but many people didn't get a chance to play them because the system itself didn't sell nearly as well as the Switch has so far. The world of Horizon Zero Dawn is expanding a little early. Sony has released a free update for the game that brings in several new features. Known as Patch 1.30, the biggest addition is the new Game Plus option, which allows you to replay the game story from the start with all your existing character progression and inventory intact, although the level cap will still be set at 50, so you won't be able to go above that. If you want to put your skills to the test, the patch also includes the new Ultra Hard difficulty mode, which makes the enemies more formidable and also slows down your health regeneration. If it gets too hard, the patch also allows you to readjust the difficulty level before each mission. Finally, the patch also comes with new trophies and cosmetic enhancements like face paint. Developer Guerrilla Games says that this will be the last big content update for the game before the first expansion arrives this fall. That's called The Frozen Wilds and will give players a new story set in a new and very chilly location. Your greatest foe from the darkest depths of Mordor is coming back to haunt you. The 2014 game Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is getting a cool new update just in time for the sequel Middle-earth: Shadow of War. It will allow players to take their worst adversary from the first game's nemesis system and bring them over to the new game when it launches. Here's how it works. Users download and install an update for Shadow of Mordor, and then when you open the game, it automatically finds your highest ranking nemesis as well as your most loyal follower. It will then import them into Shadow of War when the game launches, so they'll be waiting for you when you start playing. The update is free, but you'll obviously need to buy both games in order to use it. Developer Monolith Productions says they're doing this to help create a greater sense of continuity between the two games, making sure that nothing is forgotten from one to the next. The Nemesis system was easily the coolest thing about Shadow of Mordor, taking common enemies and turning them into recurring adversaries with unique personalities and vendettas, so allowing the same characters to live on in the new game makes it even better. Middle-earth: Shadow of War arrives October 10th. Mass Effect Andromeda is getting a new race, but the game itself may not be back in the race. EA has announced a surprise new update for the multiplayer mode in their troubled sci-fi RPG. They will add a new playable race, the Batarians, who appeared in the original trilogy but have so far been absent from Andromeda, and the update also includes a harder difficulty mode known as Platinum difficulty. EA hasn't said when the new multiplayer update will arrive, but expect it soon. Even though they're still updating the multiplayer mode, it's unclear what's happening with the single-player portion of the game. There have been conflicting reports over the last few weeks that EA may have canceled the planned single-player story expansions for the game following its poor reception. EA itself has denied this, but several outlets, citing unnamed sources, are still claiming that the DLC is canceled. We'll let you know when more news about the future of Mass Effect Andromeda hits Earth. Although the game had several big problems, we still enjoyed it overall, and we hope it will live on. The groovy new car chase movie Baby Driver might be taking audiences for another spin. A sequel to the film may be on the way. Speaking with Empire Online, writer-director Edgar Wright says that distributor Sony Pictures has approached him about making a sequel, and he already has some ideas in mind. Baby Driver tells the story of a young and very talented getaway driver who wants to quit his life of crime, but his associates make it very difficult for him.
That's my baby.
So what might the sequel be about? Wright says that if he makes one, he'd like to switch up the lead character's role so that he's not the apprentice anymore, which sounds like Baby Driver would be returning to his life of crime as more than just the getaway driver. There's no guarantee that the sequel will happen, but we'll let you know if more details hit the streets. If it happens, it would be Edgar Wright's first time making a sequel.
Maybe.
All right, my friends, that's it for the rundown today. If you want to learn more about game design, visit our pals at VFS.edu. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new rundown for you. In the meantime, check out some of the other content we've been making, and if you like it, hit subscribe, all right?